Hello and welcome back to another portfolio update, and on today's video I'm going to break down my total portfolio, which is just under £110,000 across both of my accounts. If you do enjoy the videos, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and let's get into it. So a common question I get on a lot of my videos: what was I buying, what was I selling for the last 30 days? So right, on the invest account I was buying some more Hive, which we'll touch base on next. And on the ISA account, I bought a little bit more Ondas and I bought some Nebius on the pullback that we've seen last week. So let's have a look at the full holdings of this portfolio. So what stocks do I hold and why do I hold them? And a brief description of exactly why I hold them. Firstly, we're going to start off with Ondas, which is my favourite holding, my largest holding, and one of the most followed positions at the moment in the market. A lot of people are following this one. They've just reported earnings, which I've just done a video on. Absolutely smashed it. Going into 26, this stock's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Now, yes, we did see a rise to the high 11s, 11.69, etc., and it did see a massive pullback, but so did the whole market. The market's been so unsettled recently, and even in this sector particularly, every stock that's across this line has seen a huge pullback. Most are actually missing earnings in the drone sector now, from the likes of Arcat and people like that. So, but with Ondas absolutely killing it, and with their ambitions and what they're going to go into with 26, really looking forward to it. We started off getting this stock at 179 a share, and as you can see now, it's now 463 a share. We're still up by 65%, holding 9,300 shares in the ISA account, so really happy with this position. We said it would be between 8 and 10 by the end of the year. That was our projections in the Discord and my own predictions myself. So we're still in a very comfortable position to attain that. Again, by the end of next year, this is probably going to be a 20 a share. Again, my own predictions, my own opinions, doesn't mean it actually will. Could also see 2. You never know. So you've got to, like I say, do a lot of due diligence on your own stocks, but this one I've got a lot of faith for in the future. I feel like it's only just getting started, and a lot of people recently were all over the forums and stuff saying, why is it plummeting, why is it this? People sometimes forget that when they buy in doesn't mean that it has to shoot up from that point. Now, in the last 3 months, as you can see, it's up by 94%. In the last year, this stock is up 953%. So just because you're buying at 7, 8, 9, it means you got in a lot later than where it was, because if you would have been buying down in April, you were getting this at 80 cents a share. So it just means you're a little later to the party than most people. But like I said, we was buying this up in the Discord when it was firstly at 80 cents a share. Some of the guys and myself are going at 179. So yeah, really like this stock. We'll continue to buy this stock, continue to load up on this stock in the invest account going forward. And if I end up releasing any positions in the future, this is one that I will hold for a very long time. So I've got a lot of faith in Ondas. So the next stock we're going to take a look at is Nebius. Now, what a journey Nebius has been. So I've been covering Nebius since last April is when I first got into Nebius. And this stock was about 18, 19 a share when I first started buying. I started loading up on a few shares then. As you can see, we now have 279 shares and it's at 50%, 2% up for the year for me, which is still phenomenal. Now, yes, we have seen a huge pullback on Nebius, but that's because of a lot of the stuff sector-wise. Nebius itself is still doing very well. Still very happy with the results that Nebius are producing. Like people were saying to me, SDR, well, I sold at 120, I might buy it when it's lower. Again, trying to time the market, because as quick as it can come down to 85 is as quick as it can go up to 165. So I continue to load up on shares. Bought some shares on this dip, I was happy with it. Of course, we're not at the highs of 138, etc. But Nebius is one of the future data centers that is going to thrive, in my opinion. I did a video again earlier in the year, which I'll put on the screen. And I was saying that end of the year, we're looking about 80 to 100. This was back in April when I was talking about this. This is before any of the deals, before 2 stellar earnings that we've had. And I was saying between 80 and 100. So if we finish the year between 80 and 100, I can't get mad. Yeah, I would much prefer it back to its all-time highs, but it takes time to do that. It really does take time. So give it time. Some people, a lot of things want everything to happen overnight. There's been a lot happening in the market. So yeah. Been buying this up, was buying this at 90, 100, 105, even though we started down as low as 20. So we was buying it 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way up. I just buy shares, accumulate shares. I don't try and time the market, trying to get the best averages. I prefer to have shares over it. If I like the stock, if I want the small of the stock, I want to more accumulate. Now, I was happy at 250 shares, but with the recent pullback, I thought it was a no-brainer to pick up some more. So yeah, long-term vision, by the end of next year, my price target for Nebius is going to be around the 200 mark. So yeah, I'm more than happy to hold this one for a long time too. I really like Nebius and what they stand for. So the next position we have is SoFi. So SoFi, again, what another journey this one's been. So I haven't been averaging up on this one. Me personally, I don't really like buying at these prices. My price target was 35. Like we got back in this again early in the year at 18 a share. This plummeted down to about 7, 8 after a lot of the stuff that was coming out in the news. Not even about SoFi, just naturally government news, etc. We've seen a massive market pullback. So I capitalised on that dip. I got my average down to 13.38. So we're up by 107%. Got 601 shares. My PT again is 35. At 35, when we do touch it, I will probably half my my shares, and then we'll probably let the rest run till probably about 45. I'm not going to get too greedy with this. Do I think that SoFi's got a bigger future and can go well past that? Absolutely. But again, it's not about always just holding them forever. It's about you making your own price targets. And when they hit that price target, take your profit. Doesn't matter if it at 35 it then runs to 200. It's fine. I was happy with the profit I wanted to take when I made my price target. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Worry about what you're doing. Again, so SoFi is absolutely killing it this year. Smashing it. A lot more in the tank. A little bit volatile at the moment. A bit up and down into the 30s and down below. But again, so is the whole market. But yeah, really happy with this position. Happy with my holdings. And like I say, when I hit my PT, I will be exiting this position. So the next position we're going to talk about is PayPal. Now, PayPal I also see a very bright future for. I think they've got a lot in the tank to give. I think this one's pulled back a little bit more because of a lot more of the market sentiment. People are worried about spending, GDP results, etc. So I think that's why we've seen a bit more of a pullback on this one more than others. I'm very happy with my holdings in this, 135 shares. This is the first position I've had red in the last 9 months, I believe, on the ISA. So yeah, again, I see PayPal going to about 120 next year. Again, my own opinions. Everyone has to agree. Do your own due diligence, of course. I like PayPal as a company. I use PayPal myself for a lot of for day-to-day stuff. So I like what they're about. I like the crypto integration that they're doing. I like the direct link payments that they're doing. I get a lot of promotional emails from PayPal. So yeah, I've got faith in them. I think there's a lot more in the tank to go. And this one, like I say, 120 is the price target. It's having a bit of a not so good last 3 months. Like I say, it's a bit all over the place, a bit volatile. Did announce the deal with OpenAI, reached the very highs of 76, 77, then literally the next day plummeted straight back down. So again, ignore the noise, stick to what you know, and I like PayPal. And the fifth and final position in the growth sector of this portfolio is AST. Now, ASTS is an absolutely phenomenal stock for the future. This stock trades a little bit like how Tesla does, and that's my best way to explain it. So what when it rose up to nearly 100 a share, it was purely volume of hype, and I like I said, this stock is for me is between 150 to 200 a share in 2028. But we're talking 2028. We're in 2025. When it's fully operational, when the satellites are up, there was no reason for it to go that high that quick in regards to actual fundamentals. So I spoke about this in the Discord and I preached about this one running too hot. Now this was a position that I said I would leave alone, but when I seen it run to 100, it absolutely was a no-brainer to take some shares off the table and then reinvest at a later date. This stock is in probably even still now well overvalued, but again, like I say, it trades like Tesla off future projections of what the company will be and do, and rather than what it's doing right now. So ASTS, I really like this one. We'll hold this one for years. I think it's game-changing stock. We are still up 42.35%, which is up 1,000, just over £1,000. We've got 80 shares. We will definitely be increasing that holding, and I do probably see further pullbacks on this one into the year. Again, very, very, very high beta stock, volatile. Very high volatile. So yeah, but this is a position that I really like what they stand for. Got a lot of patents, a lot of good products, and I really do think it's the future for satellite signal controlled. So yeah, really like ASTS. So for the rest of my portfolio, we do have the ETF funds, which we'll touch on. You'll see I always track a 0.2 share of BBAI. It was a stock I had a lot of in the past. Do think they're going to do better in the future. It was nice to see them do better on earnings, but like I said, I just like to track that. So inside my ETFs, I have 2 ETFs. So I have a S&P 500 and I have an Invesco All World. Now I'm sure I say this every video that I do an update for in case anyone's new. Very overweight US stocks. I am fully aware of that. In 5 to 10 years, will that change? Maybe, but right now I'm very happy with how I set that up. What I do with this is I just chuck in £100 every other week, every week or whatever. While I'm a bit younger, I'm more saturatedly faced on growth stocks and doing that, but it is also nice to have that little bit working in the background. As you can see, we're up 17.8% on the S&P and 14.81% on the all world, so happy with those positions. Now, before we do go into the further video of having a look at the investor count as well, I just want to touch on something about the market and about, I see a lot of people sometimes getting emotional, so I want to go over it real quick. When we look at our year up, we're up by 193% this year, which is £57,000, which is incredible. That's a lot of money. That really is. Now, my portfolio on here has seen highs of 130,000 on the 14th of October. Now, that meant I was up 318% and 89 grand. Now, since that, we look out, we've dropped by about £33,000, which again is a lot of money. But you have to be happy with understanding the market and understanding that day to day it can get that volatile, especially when you're in smaller, medium cap stocks. So for me, very happy with all my positions. I know it gets volatile for me sometimes. We've seen lows of 88, we've seen lows, do you know what I mean? But you have to understand what you're investing in. Did your fundamentals of your stocks change, or was it just noise from the outside? In this case, it was a lot of noise from the outside, and my fundamentals and my stocks have not changed. So don't panic. Buy up the opportunities where I see them and just ride the wave and enjoy it. So let's have a look at the investor count. So what do we hold on the investor count? There's only 3 stocks on here so far. So we've got Ondas, we've got Hive, and we've got FTAI, which is FIP. So let's break it down and let me go over this real quick. This bit of my portfolio, I like it because it resonates with most investors that are getting into the market now. Because it's easy to buy when you come in now and you're buying at all-time highs to see big drops like 35%, 19%. And I can imagine that for new investors, it feels a lot. But this is how it felt for us in April. This is how it felt for people in COVID. This is how it felt for people. So you've got to understand the market and understand what you're in. It's really important that you understand what you're in. So Ondas, on the investor count, we've got 1,300 shares at the average of 692. So obviously we have averaged up a little bit on this one. Again, strong position, holding it for a long time. So as you can see on this account, for the last 3 months I am up by 2,300, even though a lot of these stocks are down. That's because when Ondas was at its peak, I took some money off the table. That is also something I'm a big believer in, taking bits of profit off, trimming your shares. When you have a massive holding, if it reaches somewhere where there's a lot of money, there's nothing wrong with taking a bit of money off the table. I did that on both accounts. I think it was 1,000 shares across each or 500 across each, and it gave me a bit of cash. When it dropped back down, I didn't plan on using that cash to buy cheaper shares, but it presented itself, so I did. So yeah, we got Ondas, we got Hive. Now Hive, I see a good play here. I'm not overly sold on the board, which is something a bit like meh. Like, do you know what I mean? They don't really like how they present themselves too much. I mean, earnings were supposed to be Friday, and nothing happened. No press release, nothing. Looks like it's going to happen Monday when the call is, but surely you'd tell your investors that just doesn't look good. They have seen a recent pullback again with Bitcoin having a massive pullback. Naturally, bit miners are going to have massive pullbacks. So I bought up some more shares, got myself up to 1,000 shares, 520 average. I see this stock at least 2xing, 3xing in the near future. They are Bitcoin miners, but they are moving into data center plays as well. Very cheap. They do a lot of mining. They are very, very strong in that market. They mine a lot of Bitcoin. I believe it's something on average like 9 a day or something like that. We'll have to double check that fact. But yeah, very, very good stock. From the fundamental side, it's just the board and stuff, I guess, is just one of them. But yeah, I do believe in this one. This one's more of my more skeptical plays. It is in the investor count. But yeah, I do think there's something there for the future. So FIP, which was another... It's a bit of a skeptical play, but I do like the company. I watched a couple hours of due diligence on the CEO and stuff, earnings call meetings. They obviously took on a lot of debt recently, but they're refinancing that. Bought out a very lucrative rail network system in the US, one of the most popular ones used, so it's going to be highly revenue. They own their own power plant, which they might be selling off, which will help towards that debt. But yeah, I think this company's got a lot of juice in the tank as well. Again, have seen a pullback, but so has everything. It's down 19% at the moment, but yeah, I've got good vision for this for the future. So yeah, that is both of my portfolios. That's everything that I own on Trading 212. If you do enjoy these updates, you do enjoy the little brief descriptions, etc., leave me a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.